Today we're making oven-baked pasta. A pretty simple recipe divided in two parts. One of them is a little boring because you have to keep stirring while it's cooking on the stove, but really no big deal. Let's take a look at what we need. As you can see, the list of ingredients is quite short. We need some butter, 1.5 ounces, which is 40 grams. We need milk, 400 milliliters, which is 2 cups. We need pasta, a pan that goes in the oven. Flour, we need 40 grams of flour, which is half a cup flour. We need ham, a big pot to cook the pasta in, shredded mozzarella, a smaller pot, and a wooden spoon. Step 1, which is actually step 1 and 2. Check me out, single dad multitasking. It's I am melting the butter, and at the same time I am bringing the water to a boil. I melted the butter, and now I am adding a little bit at a time the flour to the butter, and I stir. As you can see, the butter and the flour mix very easily. Now I'm going to add the milk. Again, a little bit at a time, but without going crazy. Put it on medium heat. This is the more boring part because I have to stand here and keep stirring until this mix turns a little bit harder, a little creamier from totally liquid. It should take about 5 or 6 minutes, but I'll let you know exactly how long it's going to take. I've been standing here stirring for 5 minutes now, and it's kind of, remember, you have to keep stirring because otherwise this coagulates and forms like big chunks, and that would not be good. So it's 6 minutes now. It's hard to explain exactly when to stop, but basically this mix of milk, flour, and butter should reach a consistency that is somehow in between heavy cream and yogurt, to give you an idea. When you see that it's no longer super liquidy, it's no longer just basically milk, you can take it off the heat. Keep stirring for a little bit because being so hot it'll keep cooking, but I will also move it to the back and let it sit there. It will also get a little bit firmer, a little more dense while it's cooling off. In the meantime, I'm keeping an eye on the water, getting ready to cook the pasta. The water is boiling, and I just added the salt. Now, one thing that I'm also going to do, because I'm an overachiever in this particular instance, is if you have it, you can add a little bit of ground nutmeg to the bechamel sauce we just made earlier and stir it in. If you don't have it, I don't think it really makes a big difference. I'm going to add the entire box of pasta. I never really know exactly how much to make for this, so I always put the whole box. It says it should cook for 14 to 15 minutes, so I'm taking a little break, and I'll be right back. The pasta is ready, and I'm sorry, I figured you didn't need to make a video of me putting it through the strainer. So what I'm going to do is place a first layer of pasta in the pan, the one that goes in the oven. And by the way, it doesn't really matter at all which kind of pasta you use. Just use the short kind. Yeah. Then I'm going to put some of the sauce that we made on top, just to cover it a little bit. Keep in mind that we're going to make probably, I would say, 4 layers. This, so keep enough sauce. I'm putting some ham, just breaking into pieces. Like this. And then I put the mozzarella cheese. Oops, made a big mess. like this. And I completed my first layer. And I just move on to the second one. Pasta again. This one is a Rebel, that's what I'm going to get in. Sauce. Ham. And mozzarella. Remember to keep when you take the pasta off the stove, you can keep it al dente, which is a little harder than you would normally perhaps eat it, just because it will cook more in the oven. Very good. Let's move on to the oven. In the oven, on bake at 385, the only temperature I know or I use besides broil. I'll let you know how long it takes. Here we go. It was in the oven for 25 minutes. You will see that the cheese melts and the pasta is getting that little bit of a golden color. I'm just gonna let it sit there for and cool off a little bit because it's really hot. So 25 minutes in the oven. This is really good, very easy, and it makes great leftovers too. If you don't eat it all and you want to eat it tomorrow, it's not a problem. It will taste just as good. Enjoy.